Hi, my name is Charlie McGrath. I'm the founder of WideAwakeNews.com and a host on the Rinse Radio Network. I'd like to talk about the number one threat to your future, the number one threat to your freedom. It isn't terrorism, it isn't mass shootings, it isn't whatever governed by crisis event that is brought to you by the mainstream media next. It is the weapon of mass destruction, which is debt. And this gets lost, it gets pushed by the wayside when any titillating news story comes to light. The debt situation, the issue of spending money we don't have gets pushed to the wayside. We pretend we're going to fix a problem. We just had a political season come and go where debt was being talked about by the Republicans, debt that they were going to get under control, debt that they were going to make sure they didn't pass on to the children of our children of our children. Forget about that. Worry about the here and the now. We are building a monster. We are building a self-sustaining chain reaction, a nuclear debt weapon that is going to annihilate this country. It's going to annihilate this country, and it is going to usurp your sovereignty. Let's look at some numbers. The fact is, the $16.4 trillion debt ceiling that was a $8 trillion debt ceiling just a few years ago, and then an 11, then a 14, and now a 16, and going to be a 20. The $16.4 trillion debt ceiling, it's been reached. Right now, they're cajoling numbers, cooking books in order to keep this thing going. $16.4 trillion in sovereign debt. That's $52,000 per person in this country. It's $145,000 per taxpayer in this nation. We spend $1.5 trillion a year more than we take in. Currently, our debt to GDP ratio is 105%. We expand the debt by 9% a year, and our flailing, depressed economy is growing at an average over the last decade of about 1.8%. We spent $10,000 per human being in the United States last year paying interest on debt. We have $15 trillion in personal debt, $13 trillion in mortgage debt, $1 trillion in student loan debt, $900 billion in credit card debt, and we're sitting with a staggering $122 trillion in unfunded liabilities. That is $1 million per taxpayer in this country of unfunded liabilities. Promises made by Washington, D.C. that you are going to get a keep. They're going to straddle you with this. And it doesn't matter if they bailed out banks and they bailed out their friends and they bailed out their cronies all the way to get to this enormous debt load. We, the people who are supposed to be served by a government of, for, and by we the people, are going to be straddled with this failure, with this noose. And we can't play this off as something that's coming down the road. It is here and it is now. Now, we had the election season, all these promises to get our debt under control. We've been hearing this for years. We're going to get our debt under control. We're going to get our financial house in order. The whole time, we're shoveling our financial future into the hands of a few Wall Street banks, into the hands, our sovereignty into the hands of the Federal Reserve. The Republicans were going to take this head on in this last election and turn the corner. The Ryan plan. We had all kinds of hope about getting our spending, getting our tax receipts under control, and we were going to fix this problem. So what did they do today? What did they do today? They went ahead and they kicked the can down the road 3 more months. It didn't even make the headlines. You had to search to find it. The Republican-controlled House of Representatives decided it was okay to kick the can down the road for 3 more months. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, because they got a plan. They got a plan. No budget, no pay. This is their plan. This is Bonner's plan. The Republicans' big idea. No budget, no pay. So let's get this straight. Our nation is now 105% national sovereign debt to GDP. Our nation is $16.4 trillion in debt. Every taxpayer listening to me right now, you owe $1 million for unfunded promises that Washington, D.C. has made. We have $1 trillion worth of student loan debt that the kids coming out of college have no hope of paying back. The insanity of the fiscal policy in this country is leading, it is a complete and utter security risk that is leading to the loss of sovereignty and freedom in this country. The most dire economic situation that this nation has ever been in. And the House of Representatives, they're going to get a plan done, because if they don't, they're not going to pay themselves. Let me tell you something. If these sellout for-profit working for special interests, so-called representatives, cannot get our fiscal house in order because of the health and welfare of the people of this country, do you really think for 1 second, this is going to motivate them? This is going to motivate them. They have to threaten their own pay to get the budget done. There is no budget deal coming. This is a weapon of mass financial destruction that has been unleashed. It is self-sustaining. It is a nuclear financial bomb that's waiting to go off. And when it does, there won't be any talk about we're going to grow our way out of it. It is going to be, how are you, American taxpayer, American citizen, and citizen of the world, how are you going to pay for this so the banks don't realize a loss? Stories are attached. That's all I got.